Thank you very much, fellow Africans, and welcome to today's episode of the Change for African campaign. Being on Friday, it is about our fifth pillar of the Change for African campaign, which is about the climate change that we face in Africa. So therefore, fellow Africans, it is also an interesting thing that to this far we have been able, this is our 50th episode of the Change for African campaign. That is a half a century if we are doing this yearly. So it is a milestone indeed, and we promise to proceed with this until when things shall be going right. So therefore, fellow Africans, today being on Friday about climate change, as I've said before, today I'll be focusing on one of the reports, just a very brief section of it, of the World Health Organization. It is a UN body under the World Health Organization. It's a UN body by the name World Health Organization, WHO. And fellow Africans, the very issue of discussion, it is about the impact of climate change to health or matters to do with health status. Remember, health is a very critical thing. You all need to have health for you to be able to carry out different operations, for you to be able to actually do anything. Without health or proper health, you can't do anything. And so, fellow Africans, according to the report of the World Health Organization, very recently, is that it has been identified that there's an estimation that from 2030 to 2050, of which are about some 5 years too, that every year, or there will be an additional 250,000 deaths will be occurring yearly from 2030 to 2050. This is a result of climate change and its effects to health. Remember, climate change is a very concerning thing when it comes to health. So the impacts that come with climate change have proven to be real, and they have proven that they are even escalating to very bad impacts, and they are coming in a very forceful manner, in a way that is going to devastate everything. And so we have to be very keen about that, because the effect that come with this, we have the examples of malnutrition, we have examples of malaria, we have examples of diarrhea, heat stress. Remember, it's about global warming also. So it is an effect of climate change that is coming. So an estimation of 250,000 deaths or fatalities occurring every year, it should be an issue of concern. And remember, among this, it has been said that one of the things is that areas with minimal infrastructure, or areas or countries or places of the world that are yet to be more advanced in terms of the infrastructure, more particularly on because speaking about malaria, speaking about diarrhea, speaking about heat stress, speaking about malnutrition, it all calls for different types of infrastructure. You know, when you speak about maybe diarrhea, we are calling maybe like our cities today. We have cities whereby we do not have good sewage systems. We have cities whereby there is no access to clean water for drinking. So these are some of the things we speak about. And also we have very many areas, even the rural areas in Africa, whereby the lifestyles are still at a very low age, or at a very mean levels, whereby when it comes to diarrhea, when it comes to issues to do with malaria, these are issues of concern, and they're very real things, posing a very huge threat to these populations. So it is an estimation, and these are some of the things that we have to be very keen about. Speaking about infrastructure, speaking about the sewage system, speaking about even the health facilities themselves, whereby people should go and access these medical services and also be treated. The capacity in which to provide these services needs to be there. But looking at currently in many African countries, Africa is actually currently, it's one of the areas whereby we do not have the requisite infrastructure, the optimal or the enough requisite infrastructure to be able to give capacity to such services. So it is an issue of concern that as we move into the around 25 years to come, we have to see how we are putting up the requisite infrastructure to be able to be ready for anything in terms of health that may pose a threat to health of our people in Africa. So this is just an estimation, and it is a study that has proven that indeed, if nothing is done, then there's going to be a problem. And some of these things actually related to climate change, because speaking about that reducing greenhouse emissions will actually be one of the ways in which we can reduce those fatalities. Remember, we are talking about greenhouse emissions. It's whereby now how can we be able to curb the greenhouse emissions? Now we have to tap in areas like the transport. The transport systems, how are they? Our transport should be fully clean energy. Speaking about food, what we eat, it's also part of lifestyle. What we eat is also an issue of climate change, and very many things, our health facilities and all these things, and particularly through reduced air pollution. That's when we'll be able to, that is about now speaking about climate change. So these are issues that are alive and well, that we have to be very, very critical about. And it is a report that I think it's early enough for the African governments to be able to intervene in such areas and see how we can be able to escape such a threat, because it is real, it is live, and it is well. If we are not very keen, then we'll be facing this in some few years to come. And Africa, it is not a land that we have to be ready now. We have to be a continent whereby we are very, very proactive in such things, such that when such times come, we are very stable and we are able to accommodate ourselves. We are able to rescue ourselves from such situations. So therefore, fellow Africans, it is on a Friday, and allow me to wish you an interesting weekend as we go into the weekend. And remember one thing, that this Saturday we'll be having our first YouTube live. So I'll be communicating with you further as we go, and welcome to that live and watch as we'll be speaking. It's called the Weekend Edition. Lester Thomas Abega speaks. Thank you. Have an interesting afternoon.